hello. Didn't see you there.
This is my support animal t-shirt of the week. In case you didn't know, this is one of my favorite movies during the season. The list is a little longer. I don't know if you have noticed, on this channel we do a lot of lists. For those who are new here, hello and welcome to me screaming into the void. In October, it's gonna be mostly just lists. Actually, I think it's only going to be lists. No. I will be deep diving in November into a couple of things. Let me know in the comments below which new movies you want me to deep dive into. I was thinking I would do a deep dive on weapons. I just wanted you to know I have read all of your movie suggestions and I will be watching them when I have a quieter month where I will finally be talking about all the movies that you suggested that I should watch and review them. This month I will be bringing out 2 parts of horror movies you can find on Tubi because I went hunting in the Tubi woods. I thought I would make a part 1 that is a little more autumny, fall inspired, and the second part will be a little bit more Halloween-y. Welcome to Tubi Part 1. Autumn chills and creepy vibes. The air is crisp, the leaves are rotting, and Tubi's vault creaks open to reveal 3 horror movies that are perfect for fall. This time I've divided it up into 5 categories. The first one we will be diving into is creature features, moving on to cabins and weird or haunted places, goth vibes and slow burns, bloody slashers, and strange places. Buckle up because this list is hopefully gonna satisfy your autumn hunger for horror. First up, creature features. When monsters crawl out of the woods or sticky floors of a cursed arcade. Grab your tea, void floaters, because in this round, the creatures usually win. First one we are talking about is An American Werewolf in London from 1981, directed by John Landis, starring David Naughton, Jenny Agutter, and Griffin Dunn. It's about 2 backpackers who cross the moors in England, and one doesn't return human, and the other doesn't return at all. Why it's perfect for Halloween? It is still the gold standard when it comes to werewolf horror movies. Yes, I did watch The Howling. We will be talking about it in my Hooptober midpoint. I didn't like it. I will let you know why. Get mad at me now in the comments and then we can hash it out when I will be talking about my Hooptober midpoint session. The vibe it gives is misty moors, creaky pubs, and transformations under cold skies. Search tip, you would find it under comedy. This movie was the first movie ever to win an Academy Award for Best Makeup. Rick Barker's transformation effects were so jaw-dropping, the Oscars literally invented another category. Next up, Feast, 2005, directed by John Gallagher, starring Kristen Allen, Navi Ravat, and Eric Dane. It's about stranded bar patrons who must fight off ravenous monsters when the last call turns into a bloodbath. I find this movie so campy and so fun. The special effects were on point. The whole movie takes place in this bar, and there's literally nothing else happening than humans fighting creatures. Why it's perfect for fall? It's a midnight monster siege. You have orange hues everywhere. The vibe it's giving is sticky floors, neon beer signs, and splatter chaos. Search tip, you might find it under comedy. Listen, I will always be going through all the Tubi movies to check out under which category you can find it in. Yes, most of them are also categorized as horror. The creature effects were designed by Gary J. Tunnicliffe, who worked on Hellraiser and Candyman. Willy's Wonderland, 2021, directed by Kevin Lewis, starring Nicolas Cage and Emily Tosta. A drifter agrees to clean a rundown family fun center overnight, only to discover that the animatronics are alive and hungry. I think you know by now, I'm a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. He can do no wrong. Even the worst movies that he has done are still worth watching for me personally, just because it's Nicolas Cage. And I find him entertaining no matter what he does. If you would like me, I will not say watch all the movies Nicolas Cage has ever done because that would be insanity. But if you would like me to watch all the horror movies that Nicolas Cage did and rate them worst to best, let me know. Why it's perfect for fall? It's killer animatronics versus silent Nicolas Cage. Yes, this is one and the only movie where he doesn't talk at all. Not even a bit. It's absurd fun for a fall movie night if you want to just sit down, eat some popcorn, and watch something that doesn't really have to go too deep. The vibe it gives is greasy arcade floors and neon lit carnage. Search tip, you will find it under comedy and action. I love that Cage doesn't speak a single line in the entire movie. He just grunts, screams, and crushes energy drinks. Black Sheep, 2006, from New Zealand, directed by Jonathan King, starring Nathan Meester, Tammy Davis, and Peter Feeney. It's about genetically altered sheep that turn bloodthirsty, amongst other things that will happen in this movie with sheep. I just watched it again because I put it on my Hopetober list, so it's very fresh in my mind. The special effects are insanely good. All of them are practical. It's a perfect splatter comedy pick to balance out heavier fall movies that you might want to watch. The vibe it gives is rolling pastures drenched in gore. Search tip, you will find it under science fiction and comedy. From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, directed by Robert Rodriguez. I'm not a massive fan of Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I don't mind their movies. They're well made, don't get me wrong. It's just as human beings, I'm not a big fan. It stars George Clooney, Tarantino, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, and Salma Hayek. It's about criminals who hide in a bar crawling with vampires. Why it's perfect for fall? It starts like a crime thriller and explodes into a vampire fest. It's just pure October mayhem. The vibe it gives is road trips at dusk and desert nights with neon-lit nightmares. Search tip, you might find it under thriller. Fun fact, the bar stocks Cerveza Chango, which is Robert Rodriguez's fake beer brand that recurs across his films like Desperado and Machete. Next category, cabins and weird or haunted places. This category is perfect because nothing says fall like cabins surrounded by autumnal woods, asylums, and drafty old houses. First up, Cabin in the Woods. This movie is leaving soon, so I'm not sure if it's going to be there once this video is out. I hope it is because it's a perfect fall movie. It's directed by Drew Goddard and it's starring Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Fran Kranz, and Richard Jenkins. It's about 5 friends who vacation at a cabin unaware that they are the pawns in a ritual. I love that they take the trope of the cabin in the woods and they twist it to make it something else. I don't want to spoil it. I know this movie came out really long ago. For those people who haven't watched it yet, just go in blind, watch it, and enjoy the fun. It's perfect for fall because it's the ultimate send-up of every cabin trope. The vibe it gives is remote forests, trapdoors, and ritual sacrifice. Search tip, you will find it under comedy. Fun fact, the monster betting tool whiteboard list has over 60 creatures, including Kevin, who is a random office guy, angry molesting tree, and Deadites, a nod to Evil Dead. Next up, The Visit, 2015. I know this movie divides a lot of people. I really enjoy this movie, also because it's no hidden fact that I love found footage movies.
Really?
And what would a fall Tubi list be without some found footage sprinkled across it? It's directed by M. Night Shyamalan and it stars Deanna Dunnigan, Peter McRobbie, Ed Oxenbould, and Olivia de Jong. It's about 2 kids who stay with their grandparents. However, something's very off. It's perfect for fall because it has this creepy grandparents vibe and unsettling family horror for chilly nights. Deanna Dunnigan does a really awesome job portraying the grandma who is suffering from sundowning, which is an actual thing, I think. And there is these certain scenes that are nods to fairy tales, like her shoving somebody in the oven, and then there is the scene below the floorboards of her shuffling around. I usually enjoy a lot these old creepy people vibes that we get in movies, just because usually old people are portrayed as these very frail and brittle people. However, in horror movies, that's not how it is. The vibe it gives is a cozy farmhouse with sinister secrets. Search tip, you will find it under mystery and thriller. Fun fact, Deanna Dunnigan improvised some of her lines and movements, making her performance lean that much more into the found footage vibe and giving it so much more of a realistic touch. Next one, Grave Encounters, 2011, directed by Colin Minihan and Stuart Ortiz, starring Sean Rogerson, Ashley Grisco, Mackenzie Gray, and Juan Riedinger. Ghost hunting TV crew locks themselves into an abandoned asylum overnight, but the asylum screams back. Fun times. Again, found footage. Also, nothing says fall vibes like haunted asylums, in my humble opinion. It's perfect for fall because it's paranormal TV gone wrong. I feel like all of us are still waiting for a real episode of Paranormal Ghost Hunters that ends up badly. What? Am I the only one? The vibe is static cameras, endless hallways, and claustrophobic dread. Search tip, you will definitely find this one under horror. Fun fact, it was filmed at Rearview Hospital in Coquitlam, British Columbia, a decommissioned psych hospital that's been used in The X-Files, Supernatural, and Fringe. What was also very fun was that the actors weren't shown all the scares in advance, so some of their reactions were real, like when the doors were slamming shut. House on a Haunted Hill, the original and the remake, 1959 and 1999. The one from 59 is directed by William Castle, and the one from 99 is directed by William Malone. The original stars Vincent Price, Carol Omart, and Richard Long, and the remake stars Geoffrey Rush, Famke Janssen, Ty Diggs, and Ali Larter. It's about a millionaire who dares strangers to survive one night in a haunted house. One classic and one is a campy revival. I love the remake. I know that some of the purists will be like, oh yeah, but the classic is the classic. It's perfect for fall because the original set the bar for gimmicky haunted house fun, and the remake dials into this gory spook house chaos. Together, they give this perfect double feature of old versus new. The vibe it gives is thunderstorms, carnival spook house antics, creaking doors through the decades. Search tip, you will find it under mystery, crime, or thriller. I love that for the original, William Castle literally rigged theaters with Emergo, a plastic skeleton on wires that flew over the audience during the original release. Next movie, Poltergeist, 2015, directed by Jill Kennan, starring Sam Rockwell, Rosemary DeWitt, Kennedy Clemens, and Jared Harris. I'm aware it's a remake, however, the actors are awesome, and it was bound to happen that somebody was going to remake Poltergeist. Yes, I've watched the original. No, it's not on Tubi. I checked. It's about a suburban family's house which is haunted and their daughter gets pulled into another realm. Why it's perfect for fall, it's a suburban ghost story. The vibe it gives is cozy neighborhoods hiding restless spirits. Search tip, you will find it under horror. Fun fact, Jared Harris's psychic character is a nod to Zelda Rubinstein's iconic Tangina from the original. House, 1985, directed by Steve Miner, starring William Catt and George Wendt. A novelist moves into his aunt's house and finds monsters and portals waiting. I find this movie campy 80s fun. Nothing about this movie needs to be taken seriously. It's a beautiful watch and it's perfect for fall because it's an 80s haunted house comedy that keeps the fun spooky, and the vibe is haunted sitcom chaos in a creaky old home. Search tip, you will find it under horror. What I love about this movie, the stunt work was done by Kane Hodder, who then later became Jason Voorhees. The creatures were done by DreamQuest Images, an FX house who later went on to win the Oscars for The Abyss and Total Recall. The Ward, 2010, directed by John Carpenter, one of his lesser known and lesser liked movies, even though I really enjoyed this movie. It's starring Amber Heard, Mamie Gummer, and Jared Harris. It's about a young woman in a 60s asylum who sees patients vanish. It's perfect for fall because it's this perfect asylum haunted horror movie. The vibe it gives is empty wards and candlelit fear. Search tip, you will find it under thriller. I like this movie also because it marked John Carpenter's return to features after nearly a decade away from directing. Next one. I have already mentioned this before, but I feel like I couldn't not mention it for my special Tubi fall. It's The Innkeepers from 2011, directed by Ty West. Starring Sarah Paxton, Pat Healy, and Kelly McGillis. It's one last weekend of a dying New England inn where two clerks decide to go ghost hunting in their own workplace. It's perfect for fall because it's a cozy, slow burn ghost story with one singular best modern jump scare. If you know, you know. The vibe is warm wood floors, cold drafts, and a haunted silence. Search tip, you will find it under indie. I love that that Ty West for this movie decided that the entire cast and crew live inside the Yankee Peddler Inn where they were filming during production. They all swear it was haunted. Next category, goth vibes and slow burns. When autumn rain pelts against your window and streets are slick with blood. These are the movies that will make you want to curl up in a velvet coffin. First up, The Crow, 1994, directed by Alex Proyas, starring Brandon Lee, Ernie Hudson, Michael Wincott, and Bai Ling. It's about a murdered musician, Eric Draven, who rises from the grave to avenge his fiancée. It's perfect for fall because it's a gothic revenge tale. The vibe is rainy nights, eyeliner, and guitar strings snapping in the wind. Search tip, you will find it on the Thriller. Now, I did hear somewhere that the crows used in this particular movie were trained to land on Brandon Lee's arm. Next up, Interview with the Vampire, 1994. Directed by Neil Jordan, starring Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Kirsten Dunst. A centuries-old vampire recounts his immortal life to a journalist. Why it's perfect for fall? It's a gothic melodrama that pairs with the long, cold nights. The vibe it gives is candlelit tables, velvet drapes, and eternal dusk. Search tip, you will find it under drama and fantasy. Each vampire took several hours daily with veins hand-painted on their skin and enhanced with cold lighting to keep them looking like a pale corpse. And it doesn't help that all of them were always filming at night and sleeping in the day and hadn't seen daylight in a couple of weeks, which also affected their moods. I'm just imagining all the actors being all grumpy because they hadn't seen the sun in a while and were missing some essential vitamin D. The Ring, 2002, directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, David Dorfman, and Brian Cox. A cursed VHS tape kills anyone who watches it in 7 days. Why it's perfect for fall? It's VHS paranoia and static chills. For me, a must-watch for stormy fall nights. The vibe it gives is rainy gloom, static screens, and gray skies. Search tip, you will find it under Thriller. This movie started the entire 2000s wave of American J-horror remakes because it made $249 million worldwide. Next up, The Grudge, 2004, directed by Takashi Shimizu, who also did the original. It stars Sarah Michelle Gellar and Bill Pullman. It's about an American nurse in Tokyo who is cursed by a vengeful spirit. Nothing says The Grudge like I couldn't sleep for nights. It was one of those movies I watched early on. It creeped the heck out of me. It's perfect for fall because it has got this creepy, crawly, haunted vibe that you can't shake because it's not just in a house, but it follows you home into another house. No matter how many times you move, it's just there. The vibe is chilly apartments, pale staircases, and ghostly silences. Search tip, you will find it under horror. Since it was shot in Japan and directed by the same director, I feel like it helps it a bit as a remake to just keep that certain look of unease that the source material had. Next up, bloody slashers. I feel like slashers are perfect autumn comfort food. They're chaotic, they're bloody, they're very indulgent in their violence. First up, You're Next, 2011, from Adam Wingard, starring Sharni Winson, AJ Bowen, Joe Swanberg, and Barbara Crampton. It's about a family reunion that turns into a bloodbath when masked intruders attack. Why it's perfect for fall? It's home invasion terror with a nice little twist. The vibe it gives is family dinners turned blood red. Because who doesn't know about these family dinners that should be festive and then end up in fights? Only I'm guessing not every family dinner turns into a bloodbath. Search tip, you will find it under horror. I adore the fact that dinner table fight scene was shot with multiple cameras running around. Not the cameras running around, but the cameramen running around. And Wingard let the actors improvise much of the screaming and overlapping dialogue. I also find it great that the filmmakers used real hardware store tools like the axes and knives and hammers, and the cast had to train very carefully so that nobody got hurt. Next up, Urban Legend, 1998, directed by Jamie Blanks. It stars Alicia Witt, Rebecca Gayheart, and Joshua Jackson. It's about a killer who uses urban legends for murders on a college campus. It's perfect for fall because it's this late 90s teen slasher. The vibe it gives is crisp air and Halloween parties. You will find it under mystery. Brad Dourif, who voiced Chucky, appears as a creepy gas station attendant in the opening scene, which is a deliberate misdirect for horror fans, because nobody else would notice that, to be honest. Then we have 3 Texas Chainsaw movies, which I've smushed into one. The original from 1974, Part 2 from 1986, and New Generation from 1995. The first 2 are directed by Tobe Hooper. The third one is directed by Kim Henkel. It stars Marilyn Burns in the first one, Dennis Hopper, Carolyn Williams in the second, and Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey in New Generation. You have in these 3 anything that you would wish for, and I feel like you could watch all 3 one after the other. The original giving you this very dreadful presence of people stuck in a house of cannibals. The second one going completely the other way, camp galore. In my opinion, too much screaming, but the set design was fantastic. I watched it as a first movie for my Hooptober this year. Beautiful effects and set designs. Just hated the screaming. And the third one is starring Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey before they became famous. You basically go from very serious to complete and utter chaotic camp. It's perfect for fall because you get Leatherface 3 ways. The vibe it gives: dusty highways, bone decor, and family dinners of doom. Search tip: you will find all 3 under horror. Fun fact, after both Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey became A-listers, their agents tried to block the movie's release because they were worried it would hurt their reputation. Instead, it became a cult oddity in horror movies, and the fans still argue about whether this movie is good or not. Next up, Saw trilogy from 2004 to 2006. The first one directed by James Wan, and the second 2 directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. It stars Carrie Elwes in the first one, Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith in all 3. The first 3 entries that turned traps into a horror empire. I especially like the second one because it had this story about these strangers stuck in one place trying to figure a way out instead of just having a trap. It's perfect for fall because it gives escape room from hell energy. The vibes they give are rusty warehouses, ticking clocks, and screams of desperation. Search tip: you will find it under horror or crime. Sleepaway Camp, 1983, directed by Robert Hiltzik, starring Felissa Rose, Jonathan Thierson, Karen Fields, and Mike Kellen. Kids at a summer camp keep dying until we get the infamous twist. I adore this movie. It is very campy. It is very 80s. Men are wearing the shortest shorts that I've ever seen in any movies. It's perfect for fall because it gives this camp set slasher and has this perfect whodunit twist in the end. The vibe it gives is campfire smoke, cabins, and childhood fears. Search tip: you will find it under horror. It's crazy to think that the entire cast was real teenagers, unlike most slashers at that time where they were played by 20 or 30-year-olds as kids. It added authenticity and, in my opinion, also that awkwardness that some of the other slashers were missing at that time. Next category, strange places. Some autumn nights feel like you have slipped into a foggy landscape with no way out. First up, Triangle. 2009, directed by Christopher Smith, starring Melissa George, Michael Dorman, and Liam Hemsworth. A freak storm traps yacht passengers in a deserted ocean liner time loop. Why it's perfect for fall? It's got twists, cursed puzzle boxes, and it's perfect for dark autumn evenings just because there is something very cozy about a time loop. The vibe it gives is ocean mists, looping dread, and cold steel corridors. Search tip: you will find it under thriller, science fiction, and indie. The Hole, 2009, directed by Joe Dante, starring Chris Massolia, Halle Bennett, and Nathan Gamble. It's about 2 brothers who discover a bottomless hole in their basement that manifests their fears. Why it's perfect for fall? It's this almost family-friendly with just enough edge horror movie that is perfect for October chills. The vibe it gives is suburban streets with secrets under the floorboards. You will find it under fantasy, indie, or thriller. I love the fact that, like in Gremlins, Joe Dante sneaks in a lot of pop culture Easter eggs. There is posters, there is toys, and horror nods in the kids' basement. By the way, that fight with the clown puppet took 4 days to shoot. Do with that information what you will. Pan's Labyrinth, 2006, directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Ivana Baquero, Maribel Verdú, Sergi Lopez, and Doug Jones. In fascist Spain, a young girl discovers a Pan's Labyrinth offering escape at a monstrous cost. Why it's perfect for fall? It's this masterful adult fairy tale that is equal parts beautiful and nightmarish. The vibe it gives is falling leaves, cold earth, and mythical creatures. Search tip, you will find it under fantasy, foreign, or war. Del Toro for this one insisted that it's rated R because he refused to cut down the violence, calling it a fairy tale for adults, not children. Lamp 2021 from Valdimar Johansson, starring Noomi Rapace, Hilmir Snær Guansson. A couple raises a half-human, half-sheep child like their own, with, as usual, dire consequences. Why it's perfect for fall? It's this bleak folklore perfect for sweater weather. The vibe it gives is chili farms, wool sweater, and Nordic paganism. Search tip, you will find it under fantasy, indie, and foreign. Noomi Rapace for this one lived on a farm set for weeks before filming so that her farm life looked as natural as possible. Last up, and one of my favorites for autumn, is Men, directed by Alex Garland. It stars the fantastic Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear. It's about this grieving woman who retreats to the countryside where every man has the same face. Why it's perfect for fall? It's this surreal, skin-crawling folk horror for late autumn unease. It is visibly astounding how Alex Garland is able to portray autumn vibes in such a beautiful way. That one scene in the tunnel when she sings to her own echo, perfect. The vibe it gives is a folk horror autumnal woods. Search tip, you will find it under fantasy or thriller. The birthing sequence was combined with practical effects and digital blending, and Garland said it was inspired by old school body horror rather than pure CGI. And that was part 1, a harvest of ghost stories, strange places, and slashers to keep the chill in your bones. Which one will you watch first? Which ones will you be rewatching? Let me know down below. But don't wander too far because part 2 is right around the corner, where we will be going completely into Halloween territory. There will be witches, there will be pumpkins, and gore dripping from a carving knife. This was me screaming into the void. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you floating out there with the pumpkins. Bye!